The way that you start your day actually sets the tone for what is to follow. And today we are revisiting our morning routine in our new setup. Welcome to the 5 Squad. Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the 5 Squad podcast. For those out there who do not know who we are, my name is Evan Andrews.
I'm Haley Andrews.
And you guys also might notice that it looks kind of the same as it did last time. I did the last couple episodes by myself, but we are here in what we call this is our dining room technically. I guess.
I don't consider it.
This is my home office.
I was gonna say I don't consider it our dining room. I consider it your office.
This is my home office, but we had to get a little crafty with what we're doing for the next several episodes. So we thought while it is cold outside,
Yeah, by the way, it's like freezing cold.
Yeah, like super cold. Like I hate it.
Well, we're in Texas, so we're not really used to it.
That's true, yeah.
And we get 2 snow days, so.
From your job.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 snow days and she still gets paid, so wind it up. Anyway, today we're revisiting morning routines.
Yep.
We did a morning routine episode in the past to kind of let you guys know kind of how we go about it. Mine hasn't changed too much with the exception that the kids kind of get up a little earlier.
Yeah.
Yours has changed a whole bunch, so we're going to talk about that.
Everything changes with me a whole bunch. But I think mine's changed, or the last time we talked about mine was it summer? It was some type of break where I got more time.
Yeah, it was in the middle of summer when we kind of really got into the thick of doing this podcast. And
so it was summer when I didn't have like work restrictions, and now I'm like revamping it with work restrictions and extracurricular restrictions and just life restrictions in general.
Yeah. So we're going to start off a little, I don't want to say heavy, but a little bit tactical and I guess factual in our first kind of
Informational.
Thank you. So there's actually a whole bunch of science behind morning routines, and really how they push the productivity and the clarity for you to kind of start your day with.
Yep.
Right? I think there's a lot of people that kind of just roll out of bed and do what they need to do, but there are a large portion of people that need some semblance of a structure in the morning.
I didn't think I needed it until I started working on it.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm kind of one of those people that
you could roll out. If you wanted to, you could. If I wanted
to, I could. It probably wouldn't set me up for the best day, but
like it wouldn't derail you like it would me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I definitely agree with that. But so exactly like you just said, like if you don't have a morning routine, your world is kind of chaotic.
Yeah.
To say the least.
And I think for the longest time, I kind of I thought I was thriving in that chaotic kind of like, I can do this, it's fine. But then I realized no. Yeah, it just doesn't set anybody up in this house for success if I don't set myself up for success.
Well, do you remember when you literally would wake up with 20 minutes and then you're like, I have to get up now and
leave.
Yeah. How did you do that?
Not well. But again, I had an excuse at that time. I had very, very young children. And so it was kind of and I think a lot of moms may kind of relate to this, just surviving, so it wasn't I even really had an opportunity to create a morning routine, especially when you're nursing children or they're under 3. I mean, you're really on their schedule. And so I feel like it was, again, those excuses allowed me to just roll out of bed. I was up all night with one kid, or, I just, was late because I was changing diapers. There was a reason I could do that. But now that everyone's older, it's given me an opportunity to start looking at who I am and what I need. And that's where the morning routines kind of have really started.
Yeah. I mean, so I guess what I have here in our notes is, how would you say that the consistency, because I know we'll pull this into the last or so of what you've been doing for yourself. We'll talk a little bit more about that in just a minute. But,
okay. So you don't want specifics yet?
Not yet. No. Okay. But how has the consistency of what you've been doing in the morning projected itself into what you want long-term over, when I say long-term can be referenced over the rest of your day.
Okay.
But even in how have you noticed that it sets you up for the future?
I think giving time for yourself, especially starting your day, for me specifically, it allows me to feel in control of the day. Whereas if I, wake up, technically I could wake up an hour later than when I do. But if I do that, things start to happen and things start to interrupt, the flow of what I had planned for the day. And I feel like if I'm starting the day, in one consistent manner, it allows more success to be possible.
Yeah.
Like whether it's throughout the day or throughout, a month time frame or whatever the time frame may be, if I'm not able to consistently do something for myself first, then I just don't think the rest of the things that happen seem to happen well.
So it's kind of like a small win.
Yeah.
Like domino effect.
Well, we've talked about this a lot with my mental health journey specifically, that those small wins or small pieces of gratitude really help me. Mm-hmm. So, what better way to start the day than a small win, Yeah. Like, why wouldn't you, right? Don't ask me that question because it took me a really long time.
So, in contrast between what you used to do a few years ago and what you do now, you definitely like now more, because I know you like your sleep and I know, but like.
Yeah, I definitely like it now.
Is that a good trade-off?
Well, yeah, I go to bed earlier. So in the grand scheme of things, it actually works out for me. But that's the thing about any type of routine. I talk about this with my therapist quite frequently. It takes work. But what's the alternative? No work means no reward, right? So like if you're not working for something, you're losing something. So to answer your question, I guess, like if I'm not working towards a morning routine that sets everybody up, for success, then I'm losing out on the success for the day. Yeah. And that's a choice that I'm making. Or anybody's making if they're not, following something.
I totally agree. I think that there's kind of 3 key components to a morning routine, right? First one, I think everybody has to grapple with is the mindset of getting up and facing it. Like our kids go through it. Where
like don't snooze 100 times.
Yes.
And there's a lot of science on that too. Like, I think Mel Robbins talks about getting up on your first alarm, like not snoozing.
Well, it's like what I tell the kids all the time. It's like, I don't expect you to like get up and be this productive person, but like sit up.
Right.
Like, because that's the first step, because that's what gets you in the right frame of mind to take the next step.
Because if you're snuggly in your bed, of course nobody wants to get up.
You definitely don't.
So get up. What's the next one?
Next would be movement. So a part of that is sitting up.
But like getting out of
your bed.
Right.
And again, it's not like get out of your bed to like finish your day. Right? Like it's literally just get up and like walk to the bathroom. Splash water on your face.
Well, I think that probably goes along the lines of why some people put their phones or... Does anybody have alarm clocks anymore? Other than our children? I know our children. They don't have phones.
It's true.
But like putting them in another room. There's a lot of science behind that too, because 1, you won't be able to snooze. 2, you're getting up and having to go turn it off. So that movement, having to get up and out of bed.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Snooze it and go lay back down?
Some people will.
I
definitely think so.
I would love to if I could. What's the third one?
So the third is planning. And I know that you're not necessarily planning in your mornings. I think I plan my day more. I do it all in my head still. I don't write it down like I should. Everybody tells me, write it down.
Yeah, but that's because you're really good at keeping things in order in your mind. Most people are filled with so much noise that they can't maintain the structure of whatever they need to plan. You're good at that.
Do you plan your day in the morning in your
Okay, I kind of have
routine?
My answer to this I feel like is a little long. Okay. Are we talking about my morning routine? Like, do you want me to tell you my structure, or like are you just asking if I plan it? Because I can answer if I plan it.
I mean, the third area of what we're going to talk about today is like what your routine actually is and why it's productive for you and all of that. But
yes, I have to.
But in your day, in your mornings now, are you planning like what your day should look like and all of that?
Oh, am I planning what my day should look like?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant am I planning my morning routine?
No. Well, I mean,
I can only handle my morning routine in my morning routine.
Sure. But is there planning involved in either way? I mean,
so there's planning involved with like the components of my morning routine.
Okay.
There's
let's talk about them.
Okay.
Let's talk about your
because I don't think I really plan like what my day is gonna look like. I actually have to take an even smaller step and plan what my morning is going to even look like.
Okay.
So I know a lot of people probably have the same structure in their mornings, right? Like that's kind of what the purpose of a routine is, right? The same thing each day. That makes me want, like, have hives. I don't like to do the same thing every day. And I know social media is kind of a big reason that a lot of, I don't know about men, I was just going to say women, at least a lot of women I've talked to, we really probably struggle with this perfect morning routine because you see it on social media about how many people are actually doing that. So what I've been working through this, I would say probably the last month with my therapist is like, what are the 3 most important components of the morning that you need to want to get done? So she was telling me a little bit about like hers, and I realized that mine was also the number 3. So spend time with God.
Okay.
Get ready for work.
Okay.
Because you can't go to work naked.
Right.
And have some type of positive involvement with the kids' morning. And I know that probably sounds little to the average person, but I mean, I leave before the kids like even eat. Yeah, right. Like, so I have to be at work at 7. So really being an involvement in their routine has changed a lot over, their age groups and stuff like that. So I also have like tiny little things that I do. Like I pick I brought it to show. I pick a Bible affirmation card, and
it's about 9 of them next to the bed.
It just like, I pick it out of here because it kind of helps me to like start like, what am I going to think about today or focus on today? Like this one says, God loves me more than I can fully imagine. And so if I didn't plan something to do in my Bible study, there's a Bible verse and I can read that or it can guide me. And I always send it to my Bible study girls. And I always flip a page in my calendar. Like this one says, you're a critical part of God's bigger plan, but let's not forget that it's his plan we must learn to joyously and expectantly surrender to. Know that he will perfect everything that concerns you. So you mentioned that it's hard for me to get up. So I always have some type of positive thing to read to lead me to my next part of my routine. I really struggle with what I want to do first. I spent the last 2 weeks doing my study first, then getting ready, then having time with the kids. And I just realized things weren't really aligning well. So I'm actually in the midst of changing it again. And I realized again with my therapist that I'm the type of person that I have to focus on. These are the 3 things that need to get done. They don't necessarily have to get done in the same order every day.
Yeah.
And I don't have to plan like tomorrow I'm going to do this one first, this one second, this one third. I have to learn how to go with the flow in my morning routine. So,
which has probably been one of your biggest struggles of our relationship, but like our time together.
Well, yeah, because if I'm like an all or nothing type of person. So like I'm either all the way going with the flow and it's pure chaos, or I'm all the way routine and I don't feel myself. So I'm trying to learn the difference in the way that it works.
Happy medium.
Yeah, the way that it works for me, because your routine's different. Like, what do you talk about yours?
No, I mean mine's still very much the same. Well,
I'm saying different than mine is what I meant. Not
so
different.
I wake up.
The same.
I mean, I wake up and I make breakfast for everybody. So that's usually pancakes. And then we
have been trying adding eggs in there.
Yeah, but that's like the weekends.
Yeah, well, I love it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot to do in the 45 minutes that I kind of have to make breakfast.
Anyways.
I don't really eat breakfast. Like, I don't make it for myself. I make it for all of you guys. Then I have like 10 minutes of my second cup of coffee, pretty much. And then the kids' alarm clocks are going off. And then it's serve them breakfast, make sure that their teeth and backpacks and all of that.
But usually during like the time that you're making breakfast, you're listening to something too. Like
that's very true. Yeah, like I'll either listen to like Mindset Mentor podcast or my Bible app or something like that to, I don't want to say necessarily fill the void, because like I could literally stand there in silence. It would be fine. But I think it's important to get your day going with
positivity.
It's not even necessarily positivity, because in the Mindset Mentor, like there's stuff that he's just like
I think what it
beating
is,
you over the head with like.
But I think what it is it's important to start your day interrupting your thoughts, because if you start the morning, and sometimes you can't help this, at least I know I can't, but if you start your morning with those, kind of spiraling negative toxic thoughts, then, and you have nothing to interrupt it, then it doesn't really matter what you do for your morning routine, because you're kind of screwed.
True. Which is really weird, because there's a lot of the days that I wake up and it's like I kind of have those, and then I notice when I turn on the stuff, or
you're like, wait, what?
Yeah, it's kind of like it like jolts you out of it. But I know that it's weird. Like I usually, whether I show it or not, my day starts off on, I don't want to say the wrong foot, but the wrong mental foot.
Yeah.
And then by the time the day ends, it's
you're
usually
like, wait a minute.
Yeah, like
But that's okay.
But
you always say I segue into things, but I think that's exactly the I don't have like the scientific thing, but I feel like that is exactly why it's important to establish some type of routine or structure in your morning, because the world is so full of noise that our minds, when we wake up from, whether it's a bad dream or just regular sleep or no sleep, whatever it may be, our first kind of, I don't know, it's not like a choice, but our first involuntary thing is those thoughts start.
Sure.
You wake up and they start.
Yeah.
And it's your choice whether you allow them to continue and to, fill your entire day, or you interrupt them with something positive. For me, it's, my little cards, my calendar thing, and always making time to spend with God. I'm trying really, really hard to make that a non-negotiable, and then, you go from there.
I think for me, the movement aspect helps me shake it out. Like
getting up.
When I get my walk in, like that really helps me transform what I'm doing. Shower.
Your morning routine starts like after the kids have left.
Yeah, like my true morning routine starts at like 8 a.m.
Right.
Not 5 when I wake up.
My morning routine has to start right when I wake up.
Right.
Right? Like it can't start when I get to work.
Yeah.
It has to have happened before then, or the spiraled thoughts have already started.
To be clear, these routines that we're talking about for how they help us as individuals, not those around us, because
I think that's
I probably should have prefaced that before we started this freaking episode, but
no, I think that's actually a really good point, because we spend so much of our time, let me just say me, because I don't know if anybody else is as much of a people pleaser as I am, but you spend so much of your time, especially as parents, sacrificing for the kids, the family, the whatever, that these morning routines are definitely individualistic. It's so important to have time with yourself to be able to service and sacrifice for your family and for others and for your job and for your business or whatever, because those things do take up so much of your time and your schedule. And that's why I think it is important to start your day for yourself, with yourself,
I would 100% agree. That brings us to the end of another episode.
It's so crazy. What episode is this?
This one is 48, I believe. I could be mistaken on that. Nope. This
46.
Is Nope. This is the old ones, because I forgot
48,
the planning
maybe.
notes.
48. We're doing great.
48. Check the thumbnail. Check the description. You guys can fact check us on that.
But I really want to hear like other people's routines. So if you want to share your morning routine with us.
Yep. If you have one, if you don't have one, think about one.
Yeah.
What would your ideal routine look like? If you could do whatever you wanted for yourself, what would that look like? You can let us know in the comments. Whatever.
Jinx.
Yeah, we'd like to hear what other people out there are doing and experiencing for themselves. But we appreciate everybody that has gotten this far. If something we said today struck a chord with you, or maybe somebody else that out there needs to hear something like this, send them this video. They might get what they need out of it as well. But we're going to leave you in the same way that we do every single episode, and that is to remember that every day is a new day and a new chance to get it right.
Keep pushing forward and stay inspired. See you next time.
Bye, guys.